So I just got back from a walk and I had this idea that was going around in my head for a couple of days now. And now is the time that I wanted to record it. So I'm going with the flow because otherwise you won't see me for another couple of months. I'm just gonna ghost you guys on YouTube again. So back in 2019, I tried bullet journaling for 30 days. And let's just say it didn't work out. I mean, like many of the habits that I tried to build, I just couldn't stay consistent enough and therefore it didn't stick. I couldn't stand feeling bored, and so I would just try and kind of dampen this feeling by filling every single minute that I had with my phone, like scrolling on my phone, just to get rid of that feeling. But now fast forward a couple of years, I am trying more than ever to reduce my screen time. So first part of this video is why you should be bored. Boredom is really not a bad thing, although I feel that I've put a lot of negative connotations to the word itself. It's actually very necessary to get to know a lot of things about yourself, your ideas, like who you are, what do you believe, and why do you believe those things, why you act the way that you act. And it's good for deep thinking, which allows you to develop your own ideas and, not just regurgitate the last Andrew Tate video you saw on TikTok.
There's no power in sushi.
I'm sure you guys can relate to this, but I've just had a bad relationship with my phone. It would be the first thing I would see when I woke up, and then obviously the last thing I saw before I go to sleep. And what I've started to do more recently is actually not use my phone first thing in the morning and directly go for a walk. There's one thing that I realize is that there's a bunch of thoughts going around, but then at a certain point, there's one that kind of stands out from the rest of them. And so what I started to do is once I had that one thought, I would just ruminate on it throughout the entire walk. So I would go for half an hour to an hour outside. I'm lucky that I live towards a lake, so I can just walk around there. And I would just keep this thought in mind and then ask myself questions about it. Like, do I really believe this? Is this a positive thing or a negative thing? Why do I think it's positive or negative? And so whereas before I would just kind of drown out all of these thoughts with either a podcast or music. I'm not saying that you can't do this, but especially when you're feeling kind of lost in life in general, I found that it's good to kind of distance yourself from media and go on like a media diet, which I like to call it, and just kind of completely cut it off for a second. And then you think about your thoughts for a little bit and then slowly incorporate watching videos again and listening to podcasts and music. So once I would get back from these walks, I would then sit down and journal a bit about those thoughts. It could be something as simple as what happened during the last week or how am I feeling today. It could be thoughts on certain topics or opinions that I might have. And I would either bring a notebook with me during my walk and then sit down and write stuff down, or I would just come home and then write it down directly. So how to keep a pocket notebook? There are many different ways. There aren't necessarily rules, I would say, but there's kind of categories that they fall into. There are a bunch of ways you can use a notebook. You can have like a personal diary or a journal. Those would be the more typical options. Or if you're really into journaling already and want to go even deeper into the subject, I have one YouTuber that I would recommend. His name is Park Notes, and this is mainly what sparked the idea for this video. He has amazing content on just notebooks, how to keep a notebook, what categories there are, and what to write in each one of them. I found it's been very helpful and super interesting. So if you guys are interested, I'll leave a link down below so you can check them out. But you can have multiple notebooks, like you don't just need to have one. There's ones that are used for contemplation. There's also ones you can use to, if you're learning something new, you can have a specific notebook for that. Or a pretty cool one is having one where you can just gather quotes from your favorite movies, podcasts, or TV shows, or even books, and just keep them all in one place. And that way, if you get bored, you can just open that up and then you have your own personal kind of, I think it's called I really don't remember what it's called. It's a commonplace book, I think. I'm really new to this, so if you guys really want to learn more, check out Park Notes again. Like I said, he'll probably be able to help you out a lot more. And when it comes to which notebooks to actually use, you can use a whole bunch. It's like in the film industry, gear doesn't really matter. It's just what matters is actually doing the thing, like in many things. So this is the journal that started it all. So this one I actually use more for like personal diary. I did put a little bit of like to-do lists. There's like some idea generation in here as well. But right now, I actually purchased a whole bunch of new notebooks. So I got a cool pocket notebook. This one's from Moleskine. This one's going to be more my catch-all notebook where I have already started writing down my ideas. Like if I'm out on a walk, I can just bring this with me. Next up, I brought these Moleskine cahiers. This one is actually a 3-pack, so these are smaller. You can use these for any number of things. I'm just gonna keep them in probably a bunch of different bags and keep them as like backups if I don't have enough space for this book. And then, man, I'm broke. And then I got a Moleskine A5. This one is a hard book. This one is also squared, so it's like the other ones. I prefer squared over lined because it's easier to align stuff, and my dyslexic ass is just horrible at writing correctly anyway, so if I can simplify my life, I'd like to do that. So that just about wraps up this video, but in the next couple weeks, I'm developing more and more ideas on what I want to make videos about. So this is, like I said in my previous video, if you haven't seen it yet, I'm still very rusty, but I'm getting there. So more videos are going to come out. They're probably not going to be all related, but I'm going to see how all of these ideas flow together and kind of connect. So we'll see what's going to happen there. But if you guys want to follow this journey, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to my channel for videos every week. See you guys.